everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm AKAPAD, Peter A. DeLuca, the eclectic one. Now, if you're new here, this is the first time we're doing the podcast in an audio-visual exchange, and I guess the plan of action is to give you about 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes of the what's now called the AKAPAD Audio Audacity podcast. That's right, we like saying words with the letter A in it. And then after that, you can jump to just about every single podcast network to listen to the rest of the discussion. Now, this episode is strictly designed to almost be, I'm calling it 000. It's somewhat inspired by DC Comics 0 Hour. That's a super geek reference. And to bring in like a new audience. Previously, me and this dude Norm, we sat down. We did this like conversation that we recorded that became the first episode of the previous podcast, which was called Dream Warriors, later titled Dream Warriors Podcast. And it just was like, it ran for 200 published episodes. We had a couple gimmicks in there, like the 31 Days of Dread for the Halloween episodes. We did Halloween events. We did Christmas events, Thanksgiving events. We tried to bring this love of comics, TV, streaming, movies, animation, like together. And eventually, what happened was, what that turned into, like vision-wise for me, I wanted Dream Warriors. I wanted a collection of geeks to almost like ride the wave with me, and to be almost like counterculture within the geek culture, meaning that we would be more positive about movies. We would really drill into the meaning of some of them. If we had to talk about some things for 4 hours, we would. There was no cap, and like no cap to the conversations, and a lot of that, as of right now, still stands. The AKAPAD Audio Audacity podcast is designed to be long-form conversations about like topics within movies, and about like overall like self-analysis of what we bring to our own like entertainment. And it needs to be long-form conversation, because right now, and this was the big response with Dream Warriors. This is a little bit of what led to the change of the podcast, the name change, the branding change, and the ideology change. Is that I do believe that when it comes to criticism, we're at an all-time low. Social media has destroyed the thought of long-form conversation. It has removed critical thinking when it comes to presenting ideas. I'm not saying there's not outliers out there. There's definitely outliers. But I just don't feel like people discuss film like they used to. And when they used to discuss film in with ideas of intent, which you never hear anymore, it's not a part of the conversation, and it's not a part of the filmmaking process. And I really do believe, I honestly believe that, you have a reach. Like if you're putting yourself out there, you have a responsibility to put the best message forward, and not purposely be a troll, not try and be evil, not try and be divisive, but you will be those things. And when it comes to those terms today, they're almost like razor blades. A lot of those ideas upset a lot of people, and it comes with the thought that you're out to upset them. Now, that's not true at all. And look, I'm when it comes to a lot of the geek culture, I'm very much a contrarian. And what exactly does that mean? What does me being a contrarian within the geek culture mean? All right. So for episode 000 of the AKAPAD Audio Audacity podcast, I just like saying that. I do. Give me 1 second. I need coffee. I'm drinking cold coffee from last night because I woke up around 3 o'clock in the morning. Did did some laptop work, and I dumped some Snickers creamer in this, and it's just been sitting out since then. But I just wanted to finish it. All right. So the contrarian Peter. Last night, we are getting to it. It was Game of Thrones night, and social media loved it. Everyone was posting GOT Porter, GOT Johnny Walker Ice Whiskey, GOT Porter beer or IPA beer, the 3 alcohols of GOT. Which is kind of, I would say, like, that's probably, for me, the coolest thing about GOT right now, is that when it comes to products, it has more alcohol for licensing than, like, action figures and t-shirts and hats. I do like that. But it is a adult-driven show. So, along the way, I got into GOT. I got into GOT pretty early. And I was still living in Jersey at the time. And the show really did capture me, but it failed to do one thing eventually. I was looking at it as a replacement of Lord of the Rings, and it's just not. This is more Sopranos with swords. A couple the slowest growing dragons you can ever imagine. It's just like Lord of the Rings in the respect of walking. But yeah, I guess that's what you would have to do back then, or in this fantasy world. So it kind of it became the Sopranos, meaning that it had the same hooks: shock death, shock violence, shock banging, shock like massacres, betrayals, and you would get that every so often to keep it going. Alliances would turn on each other, all these things. And it does kind of lend itself to what I call the Sopranos formula. Now, HBO does know how to access the Sopranos formula. They successfully did it with Boardwalk Empire. Very much the same. They've tried it since then. It doesn't always work, and other networks and other showrunners have tried to emulate it. Maybe we'll get more into the failed GOTs. So I eventually just got bored with the show. And I again, probably the only person saying this. I literally got bored with Game of Thrones. It didn't become interesting. And every time it looked like that they were going to go really deep into the magic, they didn't. They had they were set up ideas, and that in my mind just wouldn't deliver. And eventually, if I'm watching it for boobies, I'll just watch porn on my phone. I'll do that. So it's been about 2 years, probably longer. The last, I don't know what episode it was. The last time I watched Game of Thrones, the redheaded Stark girl and the guy that had his penis chopped off jumped over a ledge. They were trying to escape, and that was the season cliffhanger. And that was it. That is the last time your boy over here, aka Pad Peter A. DeLuca, from the AKAPAD Audio Audacity podcast, episode 000, watched the show until last night. And last night I got into it. I was excited. I had GOT Oreos because I was going to do a GOT Oreo thing after the episode. Pumped. And my God, can it be any slower, more disappointing? What type of buffer, what type of setup for a season finale, episode 1 was that? If we're looking at these episodes as chapters, and I believe there's 8 chapters, it's disgusting. Complete waste. Nothing got done. And look, and it's not hard for me to follow and catch up. It just kind of solidified this idea, and it goes right into Avengers Endgame. And it's part Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. just because you want something to be good, and everyone seems to think it's like great, it doesn't mean it's anything. It doesn't mean it's good. Most likely, it means it's going to be a disappointment. Now, like, am I excited for Avengers Endgame? I'm really not. I'm really not excited for the next Star Wars. I'm at a crossroads in my life where, like, I've been absorbing all of this content, all these comics, novels, TV shows, movies, meeting creators, doing things myself. I just want something new. Is that too much to ask? I just want something new. I'm tired. I mean, GOT at one time was new. I get it, but I'm tired of it. I want something else. I want something other than Star Wars. I want something other than Avengers Endgame. I can't wait. I think we're maybe 2 weeks out. We're 2 weeks away from that just ending, and I'm fine with it. I don't think they're going to have a resolution that makes any sense. They haven't introduced any Celestials or God characters in the Avengers. They haven't. So I don't know how the Avengers are going to be able just to punch and go toe to toe and outwit Thanos. Like, I get the idea that Doctor Strange saw one possible way, but come on. Oh, we have an airplane flying by, but that's just ridiculous. It is. But look. To continue this, YouTubers, I love you. I gotta go, but you can find the AKAPAD Audio Audacity podcast on the following, including everywhere else, but mostly iTunes, Google Play Music, Anchor, Spotify. It's everywhere. Subscribe to continue this rant.